So are you thinking of moving to Phoenix, Arizona, but you're not quite sure if this is the right fit for you? You know, I was born and raised here in this town. I grew up in a home building family. My dad started building here back in the 50s. And needless to say, I've seen so many changes over the years of what's taken place in this town. There's been a lot of positives, there's been a lot of negatives. You know, it's currently the 5th largest city in the country, population of about 1.7 million. And it's diversely spread out. I mean, there's just lots and lots to do here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of take you through what I believe are the positives and the negatives of living here in Phoenix and see if this might be a good fit for you. And we're gonna get after it right now. Hey, if this is your first time on the channel and you want to know everything there's to know about Phoenix, the good and the bad, the positives and the negatives, then go ahead and subscribe below and be sure and tap that bell for notifications. You'll be the first to learn about the current market in Phoenix. Hi, my name is Rick, and the team and I, we get calls and emails from people just like you every single day looking to move to Phoenix, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're moving next week, next month, or even a year from now, give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, and we'd be more than happy to help you make a smooth move to Phoenix. All right, so let's go ahead and go through the pros and the cons, or what I like to refer to as the positives and the negatives of why you might want to move here to Phoenix. So what I want to do is I want to first focus on, let's get the negatives out of the way, and then we'll focus on all the positives of why you might want to consider Phoenix your next home. You know, the first thing that comes to mind, obviously, is the white elephant in the room, and that would be our weather. The weather here in the summertime is hot, hot, hot. There's no sugarcoating it. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that it's not. But you know, the good thing about it is, you know, as I mentioned earlier, I was born and raised here in this town, so I've kind of grown up, and I guess you get used to the heat. I've noticed the older I get, the hotter it gets. So you know, maybe as a child I didn't notice it quite as much. But nowadays, it gets hot. Who's kidding who? So if you want to do things here in town, you really got to get up early in the morning. You know, later in the evening when the sun goes down. Try and avoid the extreme heat outside during the day. You know, the beautiful thing about it is here that, you know, we've got cars with air conditioning, homes with air conditioning, offices with air conditioning. A majority of people have pools in their backyards. There's ways to stay cool in the summertime when you need to. But, you know, if you love the outdoors like I do, and you like to get out and hike or bike or go for a run, whatever it is that you want to do, you just got to plan accordingly. You've got to do it either early in the morning when the sun first comes up or before it comes up, because the great thing about it in the summertime, obviously the sun comes up early in the morning, so it's going to be probably in the 90s. We do have very low humidity, which is a positive, but it's going to be hot. But it's not brutal that early in the morning. So if you want to get up before you head to work or whatever, there's plenty of things you can do beforehand. But you know, if you're going to be out, you're going to be outside when the sun's up. Just make sure, you know, you've got proper clothing on, you've got a good hat to wear if that's important to you. If you need to put on sunscreen or moisturizers, definitely do that. That's one of the nice things about living here in Phoenix. We've got a lot of dermatology offices here in town, and everybody's selling some kind of skincare line. So there's plenty of things that you can find to wear, to put on, to help keep keep your skin looking good. Keep keep from getting sunburned too badly. Wear long sleeve shirts. Do whatever you need to do. Just use good judgment, I guess is what I'm really trying to say, because it does get hot. But like I said, if you can get out early in the morning and do what it is that you like to do outdoors, or maybe in the evenings, you know, when you come home at the end of the day from work and you want to go outside when the sun starts to go down, that's nice, because the sun will go down. You still have an hour or two of light outside where you can still go out and do some things and go hiking or whatever it is that you like to do, go for a bike ride. But just be careful. I mean, it is brutal. We do get monsoon season starts for us about July, so we get a lot of afternoon storms rolling into the city during that time of year. Usually late afternoon. It could be a clear sunny day. You know, during the day, and then at night these storm clouds start rolling in, and before you know it, it's either a dust storm or it's raining or something like that, and that might last for 30 to 60 days. This past summer, it came in about mid-July, and actually it kind of rolled in through the end of September. So we do like it here, because that is one of the things about our weather. It's pretty consistent, and I'll talk more about that a little bit later. But you know, with the consistency, we do like to change up. We do like to see some clouds rolling in here once in a while. We do enjoy when it does rain because we don't get a lot of it. So that's kind of a breath of fresh air. And we also, in addition to our monsoon season in the summertime, we get these massive dust storms that'll roll in. They're called haboobs. And if you've seen them from the air, if you see a video of them, they might be walls of dust, you know, 1,000 feet in the air, and it'll just start oftentimes out in the West Valley, and it'll kind of roll through town. And it can be pretty brutal. I mean, it'll just be layers of dust and, you know, the blink of an eye. And, you know, you just be prepared for that. You know, one of the things that comes with this type of weather that we have here, of course, you know, we live in the desert. So there is a lot of dirt and dust and all of that. You're gonna run into different types of allergies. I know for me personally, you know, when the change of season, the weather starts cooling down in the wintertime, I kind of get like a persistent cough. And every time I go to the doctor in the wintertime, he said, hey, it's just a virus. It's not bacterial, so it'll just run its course. But you might be, you know, your allergy season might be a little different here than maybe what you're accustomed to from where you currently live. So just realize that and know that you might feel some things a little differently in the wintertime, maybe in the springtime, that you don't get back home. And you just have to deal with those issues. But overall, you know, the weather here is nice. And like I said, I'll talk a little bit more about that. But in the summertime, you just have to find a way to stay in the shade, try and stay cool as best you can, and most importantly, stay hydrated. Don't take it for granted. Take water with you. You can't get enough of that out here. Just drink it, drink it, drink it. It's so healthy for you. And you know, if you use good common sense, then you'll be okay. And let people know, keep a cell phone charged. So if you're gonna go out hike in the mountains, let people know where you're going and what time you're leaving and when you anticipate coming back. Because we do have some tragedies throughout our summer, which is unfortunate. But you know, if you can have plenty of water and stay hydrated, if you can make sure your cell phone is well charged, and hopefully you can get a signal if you get into trouble. But just use good common sense, and it won't be that bad for you. Actually, hopefully you'll enjoy it here. It'll be different than what you're used to, probably. You know, I would say another negative or another con of living here in Phoenix would be our lack of a transit system. You know, Phoenix is very spread out. I mean, it goes for miles and miles and miles. So obviously we don't have the presence of a subway system. We don't have anything kind of a rail system per se, like maybe you might see in a town like a city like San Francisco, the BART system. We don't have anything like that. We do have a light rail system that kind of runs downtown Phoenix that was put in several years ago. Personally, I haven't been on it. I know when it first opened, my dad and I wanted to go ride it, but that weekend they had 350,000 other people that had the same idea that we had. So needless to say, never got on it, and haven't ridden it since. But it can be beneficial if you work downtown. It does kind of go south towards downtown and then out east a little bit. So it does kind of help alleviate some of the traffic. I don't know to what extent. You just have to be aware of that when you live here. One of the things that I always tell people, that you've got to have your own transportation. You've got to have a vehicle. You know, we do have our Lyfts and our Ubers and things like that to get you around, and you can, you know, car hires and things like that. But for the most part, you're gonna need your own transportation because the town, like I said, is so spread out, and you're gonna need to get around. So just definitely keep that in mind. That is a challenge. And with that, with the lack of a transit system, and coupled with our nice weather in the wintertime, we get our snowbirds. And we love our winter visitors. I mean, Phoenix and the Metro Phoenix area, what we refer to as the Valley of the Sun, it is such a draw for people coming in from out of town that absolutely love the weather here. But with that brings a lot more traffic. The streets get congested. You have to have a lot of patience. I mean, our traffic jam in the wintertime it's nothing like you'll see maybe in like the city of LA or Chicago or some of these other larger cities. But it can get jammed up. And for those of us that live here full time, you know, we love our winter visitors. They bring a lot of money into the state, and we appreciate that. But you've got to be patient. You know, if you want to go out you want to make a dinner reservation, you got to plan that in advance. Some of these restaurants, you might have to wait an hour or two to get seated. It is what it is. It gets very busy. People like to eat out. It's very popular. But so if you just plan ahead, you'll be okay with that. But just know that when you get here in the wintertime, as nice as our weather is here, it does bring a lot of people in from out of state. And with that comes more traffic, more congested. It's a lot more congestion, and you just have to be patient. So if you just know that going in, you'll be okay. But that's something that is a negative to our town because of our weather so nice. Another challenge that we have here in Phoenix is, unfortunately, I hate to say this, but our education system is lacking. Arizona in general is down compared to the national levels as far as testing and things like that. There are pockets in Phoenix. Some of the newer school districts on the outlying areas have better quality schools, but overall Phoenix is lacking in the education. One of the nice things about it is they've got some amazing private schools, if that's of interest to you. They also have some charter schools that test very well nationally. As a matter of fact, we sent 4 of our 5 kids went to a private school here in town, a Christian school, and they were there from preschool all the way through 12th grade. And it worked out great for us. And especially right now, there's a lot of unrest politically on the national scale of schools and things like that, the public schools. So we've got some great options for you if that's something you want to do. Homeschooling is very big here in the Valley. If that might be something you'd want to entertain as well. But just know that you've got to check out. Matter of fact, there's a link below that has some resources where you can go in and you can do your own research and just check out some of the school districts around Phoenix. But there's a lot of newer areas in Phoenix, and like I said, the school districts and the schools are getting better at that. Arizona as a whole is working on improving the education system, but we've got a ways to go yet. So if you just know that coming in, you can do your research ahead of time, kind of give you an idea on the type of school that you might want to send your kids to, whether it be public, private, maybe a charter school, or if you're currently homeschooling, there's no problem in that area. But just know that coming in, that's something that's lacking, and it's being addressed, but it's got a ways to go yet. All right, the last thing I want to talk about on the negative side of Phoenix, and I don't know, for me this is it doesn't bother me as much as it might bother you that's moving here, is our wildlife and our critters. We've got in the critter category, we've got our snakes, we've got our scorpions, we've got our crickets and roaches and all, and occasionally we have mosquitoes. That's one of the nice things about living in a dry climate. In the wintertime when we get majority of our rain is when it gets more humid and we have more mosquitoes. But for the most part, the mosquitoes are not a problem year round. But hey, we live in the desert and we have snakes. And I know that can be a bothersome to some of you, probably most of you. Me, it doesn't bother me so much. But the great news is, you can always get your house sprayed on a regular basis. There's plenty of companies out there that'll come out and they'll spray your home once a month and they'll keep the critters out. Occasionally you might see a scorpion or two. I would say in the last, probably 10 or 12 years, I've maybe seen 2, 3, maybe 4 snakes. I think one of those was a rattlesnake. Most of them were non-venomous snakes that you'll see around. But you just have to be aware of those. We do have, we've got our birds, we've got hawks, we've got owls, we've got all sorts of things. We do have our wildlife. We've got lots of coyotes. Those are fairly common around the country, and we've got them here too. We do have our little, what we call our javelina. Almost looks like a small pig it's got the snout nose and the whole 9 yards, but they're not very big. They're about the size of a medium-sized dog, maybe just a little bit smaller. And they love pumpkins. So this time of year, we got Halloween coming up. Be careful, you set your pumpkins out, they might come get them. I know they recently did at our home as well, and so we and it's not the first time we've had to go through that, but we didn't think that'd bother our home, but they found us, and needless to say, they took them away from us. So that's just something to consider. But the coyotes you gotta be careful with. We also have bobcats here as well. I recently saw, just the other day, I saw a video on Nextdoor. And if you're not familiar with the Nextdoor app, what it is, it's just a public forum or a community forum where people in joining neighborhoods can go online and just post different things. And a lady had actually posted a coyote in her backyard. And it was about a minute or so long, and it showed the coyote walking around. Very healthy coyote, actually looked great, you know, because a lot of times they look kind of skinny and they're not getting proper food, but that thing jumped up a 6-foot wall like it was nothing there. And they can go as high as an 8-foot wall. They'll go straight up the side of that fence. And that's another thing you're gonna find here is our yards are fenced in, which is quite common here. So if you're coming from the Midwest and maybe you're used to open spaces, it will be different for you here. So just know that coming in, we do fence our properties. You know, I just tell people, I say, hey, if you've got small dogs, let them out in the backyard, or you wanna just take them for a walk, just be aware. You know, most of the time these animals are, you know, if you're walking your dog, they're gonna leave you alone. Occasionally they might cause a little bit of an issue, but for the most part, they're not. Our town is very dog friendly. We've got all sorts of dog parks and places to walk and hike with your dogs. And so most of the time it's not an issue, but you know, if you just are aware of them. And you know, we've got hawks and we've got owls and all sorts of things that hang out in the trees in the backyard. So just, you know, if you're gonna let little Ruffy go outside in the backyard, he's not very big, just kind of keep an eye on him, because they'll swarm in and take them before you know it. So just be careful, be cautious, you know, just keep an eye on what's going on, and it really shouldn't be too much of a problem, and you'll be fine. So it really is. It's a fun place to live here. We love our animals. I love our animals and our wildlife. I always like to film them when I get the opportunity because I don't see them all that often, but they're pretty cool. So just be aware of it. All right, now let's go talk about the pros. All right, the first positive that came to mind for me, and these are in no particular order, I'm just things that have come to mind, I just wrote them down and made some notes. One of the things I love about Phoenix, and really this encompasses all of Metro Phoenix, or what we call the Valley of the Sun, there's just so much to do here. You know, obviously our outdoor life is amazing here. People, because you know, 9 months out of the year, you know, the weather's nice and you can get out and about, but we're surrounded by mountains, believe it or not. It's our desert scape, so it's probably not used to the mountains where you're coming from back home, but it's our version of mountains, and we've got miles and miles of hiking trails and mountain biking, even places that, you know, we're known for horses, and we've got a lot of horse property here in the valley, so we got horseback trails. There's just so much to do on the trails and the mountains to get out and about and just really have a lot of fun. You know, there again, you got to be careful, but you know, just go out and enjoy it. And we have so many events, you know, throughout the year. We've got, you know, now we're coming into our winter season here. We've got all sorts of hot air balloon rides. You'll see them all over the valley. It's a big area for hot air ballooning in the wintertime. Downtown, you've got concerts, you got various symphonies to go to. If you like to catch a play, we got theaters for plays and things like that. So there's just, there's great opportunities to do a lot. It always seems like there's something to do just about every week. I mean, you can go from October to probably the end of May. There'll be numerous farmers markets / arts and crafts markets out there to go to all throughout the valley. You can go to those. We're a mecca for golf. You know, Phoenix is a major destination on a world basis for golf, and there's plenty of golf courses to play on. You've got small executive courses that are affordable. You got more your mid-level, more championship golf courses. You know, and if you want to be in a private golf course, there's plenty of opportunities to live in that kind of community as well. So we cater to all different lifestyles and all different price points when it comes to golf. But people love it here for our golf. Tennis is a big deal here. You know, so if you love to play tennis, there's numerous tennis courts all around Phoenix, whether they're private, some are public, and there's plenty of chances to go hit the ball around if that's something that's important to you. But we have a lot of indoor, you know, bowling is big here. If you like to go bowling, there's all sorts of bowling alleys scattered throughout the valley. So we try and offer a lot of things that you can do not only outside, but that you can also do indoors. You know, when the summertime rolls around, it gets hot, you know, you can go indoors and go bowling. You know, we took our grandkids bowling not long ago. One for our youngest wanted his birthday party there, and that was fun. So we went out and did that. But there's just so many outdoor activities, especially 9 months out of the year, that people love it here. We've got South Mountain Park in the southern part of Phoenix. It's the largest park in the country, public park, and it's a great area. We have our up in North Phoenix, we've got our whole mountain preserve up there. We've got endless amounts of surrounded by mountains. And what's also neat about Phoenix is they have outcroppings inside the city. You've got Piestewa Peak that you can go hike, and it takes you to an elevation of about 1,000 feet. We're also famously known for Camelback Mountain. You might have heard that before. That's more on the border of Phoenix and Scottsdale. Great places to hike there. And what's also nice about these areas, there's also hillside living as well. So if you like to be up on the hillside, maybe you want a mountain view or you want a city light view, and you want to be more in town, those might be some good options for you when it comes to where you'd want to live here in Phoenix. But Phoenix just gives you so many opportunities, and it's kind of a very diverse lifestyle, especially when it comes to housing. You know, you can be down in the valley, you can be up near the mountain. We do have some waterways around Phoenix if you want to live on the water. But we cater to all sorts of price points. You know, you can get a nice home right now in Phoenix for $300,000 to $400,000. The median price has jumped up in the last year, probably about $100,000. I mean, it's about houses were closing. The median price closed homes about $430,000. That's up almost $100,000 from last year. I'd consider housing a little bit on the plus side. It's kind of on the border of minus as well. So it really just depends. And you know, and lately we've had the rise in interest rates, which is a twofold challenge that you have to deal with. But you know, we've got an amazing team, a mortgage team that can help you with that. They're coming out with more adjustable rate mortgages now for people. You know, for 10 years we were used to about a 3 to 4% mortgage rate or lower, and now all of a sudden the rates have jumped up. And you know, it's a little bit of a stretch for some folks. So mortgage companies are getting more creative, and we've got an amazing team that's very good at that. So you can kind of let us know how we can help you, and we can kind of get you pointed in the right direction to get all of that taken care of. But anyway, so that kind of includes the housing portion of it. It does talk a little bit about the lifestyle. The next area that I want to talk about that's really a real bonus to Phoenix is our cuisine. We have amazing restaurants throughout the valley that caters to all different types of your favorite cuisines. I mean, we're known for Mexican food. Obviously, we're close to Mexico, but Mexican food restaurants are very big here in the valley. We've got it covered with all your Asian markets. If you like sushi, they've got some amazing Korean barbecue. They've got Vietnamese. They've got Thai food. Obviously Italian food, Americana food. I think we have just about every type of cuisine that you might be interested in, all scattered throughout Phoenix and really the Metro Phoenix area, not just limited to Phoenix. So we have some amazing restaurants. What's really nice too is a lot of these restaurants nowadays are building patios on the outside. So when the weather's so nice 9 months out of the year, you can get there, you know, you get a little chill in the air, you like to sit outside. You know, we get excited here in Phoenix when we got to put a jacket on because we don't get to do it very often. So people that come down here in January when it's like 60 degrees out, they're going, oh, this is heaven. You know, we're like, I want an excuse to put on a sweatshirt. Anyway, so they have a lot of these nice eateries where they have patios outside where you can sit outside, and you know, if it's too cold for you, they'll have the heaters out there as well. But anyway, so that's something definitely to consider and definitely to take advantage of if you like to go out to dinner. Just remember, in the wintertime, it does get busy. You know, one of the things that I love about the Phoenix area is I'm a huge sports fan. So Phoenix has the 4 major sports here in the valley. We've got hockey, we've got our Arizona Coyotes. Obviously, we've got football with the Arizona Cardinals. We've got the Phoenix Suns for basketball, and we have our Arizona Diamondbacks for baseball. We're big into soccer as well. So I mean, if you're a huge sports fan, this could be a major draw for you because there's plenty to do here in the sports arena. I shared with you about golf and tennis and things like that, but you want to go out and watch a good game. I mean, you got hockey season starting up right now. You got basketball season starting up. Football season's going right now. So there's 3 of the 4 major sports right now that you can go catch catch a game. You know, one of the drawbacks that we have from the local people is you go to these events, and of course we have so many people that move here from out of town that have an allegiance with their hometown teams. Well, sometimes we get drowned out with all the people wearing gear from the other teams, but you know, I totally get it. You know, prior to us having sports here, you know, really up until 2000, well, till the late 90s when we got hockey. We had basketball for many years, but you know, we didn't have football, we didn't have hockey, we didn't have baseball. So obviously our allegiance was with other teams, but now of course I try and support our local teams. You know, so I get it. You know, you come from another town, you know, you come from Philadelphia or San Francisco or other places in California. I get it. I understand you've got your following of those teams and you want to continue to support those teams. But hey, you know, we're hoping maybe with the new generation, and of course winning cures a lot of ills too. So if our teams did a little bit better, especially in football, I love to watch the NFL, and I wish our Cardinals were doing better. But you know, you start winning a few games, all of a sudden you start getting a few more support. But hey, you know, you take the good with the bad, right? But anyway, so you do have your major sports. That's a big one, and you can't go wrong there if you like to get out and go watch a game. You know, another big draw to Phoenix, aside from our nice weather that we have, but we've got tremendous job growth and job opportunities. We got major Fortune 500 companies that are here in Phoenix. As a matter of fact, up in North Phoenix, we've got one of the largest Taiwanese semiconductor plants being built right now. I think it's going to be a $12 billion project, and they're going to employ close to 2,000 employees, and that's supposed to open up here in the next 12 to 24 months. It's under construction right now. The semiconductor business is big here. Healthcare's big here. Construction's big here. Even mining, believe it or not, we got one of the Fortune 500 companies right here in the valley for mining, because Arizona's a big state for mining and copper mining and things like that. So there's great opportunities for work. You know, if you're looking to maybe be transferred here with your company, that's a great benefit. Or if you're just looking to change a lifestyle, maybe you live in an environment where it's cold. You know, you're tired of the winters, you're tired of the cloudy days, maybe you're tired of the rain, and you say, hey, I just want a breath of fresh air. You know, I've had a number of clients recently that have moved from out of state for that reason. They just wanted a fresh start. They were tired of shoveling the snow in the wintertime. They're tired of being cold. They're willing to put up with the heat. So for somebody like me who's lived here, you know, I feel the heat in the summertime, and some of these people just now moving here, they embrace it. If that's yourself, then you know, just embrace it and enjoy the heat in the summer. But so there's plenty of opportunities to seek employment if that's what you need to do, or for a job transfer. But finding work here is really not an issue. Like I said, we're big in the healthcare industry. We've got 2 of our daughters going to school right now for nursing, so we're excited for them when they graduate here next year, and see what opportunities are available to them. But you can't go wrong here trying to find work, so definitely keep that in mind. All right, another benefit to living here in Phoenix is our property taxes are low, and that really has to do throughout Arizona, but it's less than 1% in housing, and that's the great thing about it. Is, you know, I meet a lot of people coming from California or maybe, you know, up you know, in the Midwest, up north in the Chicago area or back east. You know, and they come down here and say, what are your property taxes? And I tell them, like, they can't believe it. I mean, they're just kind of blown away that it's, you know, where they're coming from, it's double or triple what the property taxes are here. So it's very affordable, and depending on how you're going to be buying the home, you know, if you're going to put 20% down or more, you can pay your property taxes separately, but if it's less than that, the money's going to be impounded or held in escrow. And the title company just makes those payments for you if you're not familiar how that works. You know, that's where our mortgage company, a relationship that we have, comes into play. You know, we can have you sit down with them, and they can help structure all of that for you, run different payment payment options. So it's definitely something to keep in mind, because not only do you have your principal and interest on your mortgage payment if you're financing it, but taxes are a big one. And you'll also have homeowners insurance. And depending on where you live, you know, do you have an HOA? There are a number of communities scattered throughout Phoenix that have an HOA, and people like that. They like the regulations of what you can and can't do inside a community. I know when we built all throughout the valley with our home building business, we had a number of locations that had HOAs. And so we just knew going in, this is what it is and this is what we have to do. And people like that because it does keep things clean and fresh and neat in and around your community, especially when it comes to landscaping, exterior paint colors, just things like that. They police it and monitor it. If you don't, then your neighbor's kind of free to do what they want to do. And believe me, I've driven through some neighborhoods that don't have an HOA, and you'd be amazed at what people's favorite colors are. And it's probably not yours. So you just have to be aware of that and know that. But anyway, so that all factors into your monthly payment. If you're a first-time homeowner, we'd be more than happy to walk you through that. If you're selling a home from where you're coming from and moving here, let us know. We can get you hooked up with a mortgage company. Fantastic team, years and years of experience. They know the business inside and out, and they've been here for years. So we work very well together, and we can help put that together for you. So definitely keep that in mind, because ultimately we're here for you, and we want to help you make the right move here to Phoenix. All right, I think I'm going to go ahead and finish it up with this one item. And this is something that's really changed over the years. You know, if this was probably 20 years ago, I wouldn't state this as an obvious, but I really believe things are changing now here in the town, and that's our freeway system. You know, one of the benefits of living here, at least what I feel it could be a plus, first of all, we don't have any toll roads. Now, if you're coming from an environment that does, and you like that, unfortunately, we don't have that here. All of the freeways are open. You don't have to worry about that. I know when we travel to other cities and, you know, you rent a car and gosh, oh, there's a toll road. You know, you get a bill in the mail later saying, hey, you went through a toll road. And so we got to collect some money from you. I know it's not a whole lot, but here you don't have that issue. All of the freeways are open, and they've really opened up some of the outer loop freeways in the last several years to help the traffic flow around our city because we're expanding outwardly. You know, if you fly into Phoenix, you'll be amazed at how spread out it is. Actually, all of the Metro Phoenix area. And there have been a lot of positive changes in recent years of expansion in our freeways. I mean, some of the freeways are 5 and 6 lanes wide. And if you're not familiar, we have what is called HOV lane, which allows you, if there's 2 or more people that are in the vehicle, you can get in the far left lane and you can go ahead of everybody else. If you don't and you're by yourself and you go in that HOV lane and you get caught, it's a hefty fine. I think it could be $400 or $500. So just be careful of that. But I love our freeway system. It really does. It really helps keep the traffic flow going around the city. I mean, it does get bunched up in the wintertime. I mean, we just can't help that. Because of some of the widening projects that have taken place recently, it's really helped our flow of traffic. And it's just made it so much easier to get around town. And we've added a couple of freeways on the outer portion. Phoenix, you're going to find out when you move here. One of the positives too about Phoenix is laid out in a square grid. It's very easy to get around. Everything is north, south, east, and west. You know, central is our dividing line. You go west, that's considered the West Valley. You get in the Avenue side. You go to the east side, you see more of the streets are on the east side. And then north and south are just numbered roads. And so that's pretty much how the addresses flow around here. But you're going to find that, you know, I lived down in New Orleans going to school, and it was very challenging getting around there because I was used to living here. So back when I was a young kid trying to figure that out, it took a little bit of time to figure out their city. But here you're going to find out once you get here, you drive around for a little bit. It's really pretty easy to get around. It's not that difficult. So that's kind of a brief summary of some of the bullet points and the positive and minuses of living in Phoenix. I mean, there's numerous others. You know, I'd appreciate, you know, feel free to comment down below if there's anything that I've missed or something you'd like to talk about. Be sure and let me know. Be sure and like this channel. It just helps grow the channel because I really have a lot of information that I'd like to share with you and get that out for you. So be sure and subscribe to the channel, and also be sure and tap that notification bell so you'll be the first to learn about the latest market. But you know, if there's anything we can do to help you, we're here for you. You know, just give us a call. You know, send us a text, shoot us an email. You know, we're here and happy to help you make a smooth move to Phoenix. So with that being said, we hope to show you around town.